Welcome back to Truth in a Digital World. I'm John Delaney. Today we're doing a little bit of an audible from the episode I had planned, and I'm pushing that one back a few more weeks. I'm doing this because what I'm sharing today is something that needs to be addressed before we talk about manufactured trust. So let's get into it. For the last couple years, business owners have been hearing the same panic headline on repeat. Websites are dying. Nobody visits websites anymore. It's all social media. It's all AI now. Build a following and forget the website. I want to tell you something different today, and I want to say it plainly. That panic has it backwards. Your website did not become less important. It became the single most important asset that you own. And most business owners have no idea that this just happened. Now, before I get into why, I want to point you to something that has nothing to do with AI or websites, because I think it's the reason so many of us miss this in the first place. My friend Ashley Nutter runs a podcast called Watchpost Partners. Faith and business, no fluff. In her latest episode, she walked through Romans 11, Paul's picture of the olive tree. The branches don't create the life. They don't determine their own purpose. They just stay connected to the root. Now, Ashley asked a question in that episode that stuck with me. It said, if your business disappeared tomorrow, would you still know who you are? Because when your identity gets fused to your business, when you are the business in your own head, you lose the ability to see it clearly. You're grafted in so tight, you can't tell where you end and the branch begins anymore. Now, I want you to hold on to that thought because it matters more for today's topic than you'd expect, and I'll come back to it. Here's what's actually happening, and this isn't speculation. Google has said it out loud. They're moving from a search engine to what they are calling an answer engine. Not rank 10 pages and let the user click around. Synthesize one answer and hand it over conversationally. ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Copilot are doing the same thing. People aren't sifting through blue links anymore. They're asking a question once and getting an answer back. Now that shift changes what a website is for. It stops being a brochure that you point people to, and it becomes the raw material that AI systems pull from to build that answer in the first place. The old model was rank pages, drive clicks, and chase keywords. The new model is become a source AI can actually understand. Structured information, consistent details across the web, content organized the way a machine can analyze, not just the way a human skims. In the field, that means things like schema markup, clear FAQ structure, and what I call entity consistency. That's your business name, location, and description matching word for word everywhere it appears online. Most business owners have never heard those terms. That's not a knock on them. Nobody taught them that this has changed. If your site isn't built that way, the AI can't cite it. And if AI can't cite you, AI can't recommend you, no matter how good your business actually is behind the counter. So let's hit 3 points today. Point number 1 is this. Your website just became more important than it's ever been, not less. Now, I know that sounds backwards after 2 years of websites are dead content flooding your feed. But think about what AI actually needs to do its job. When someone asks ChatGPT which contractor to call or which local business actually knows what they're talking about, The AI has to pull that answer from somewhere. It needs a source it can trust, clear, structured, and consistent. That source is your website, or it's somebody else's. The business down the street with a clean, well-organized site gets recommended by name, and you don't, even if your work is better. I believe this. Most small business websites right now are built for a human glance at, not for an AI to read and trust. They're visually driven, they're content thin, they're vague on purpose because vague felt safe. Now that gap, not your competitor's marketing budget, not their ad spend, is exactly why some businesses are quietly becoming invisible in AI-generated answers, while their direct competitors who do the exact same work at the same quality are the ones getting named. I'll say the harder version of it out loud too. Some of the businesses reading this the wrong way are going to hear AI search and think the fix is a chatbot on their homepage. It isn't. Most small businesses don't need a chatbot right now. They need their existing website to actually say clearly and consistently who they are, what they do, and where, in a way, a machine can confirm. Fix that first. Everything else is a downstream of it. Now for point 2, and here's where I want to push back on something a lot of business owners believe without examining it. Social media is not a replacement for your website. It never was. But it matters even more right now for a reason most people haven't thought through. Your Facebook page, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, none of that is public the way your website is public. Most of it sits behind login walls and platform-controlled algorithms that AI systems generally can't crawl or cite the way they crawl an open website. You don't control who sees it, when or why. The platform does. And you don't own any of it. You're a tenant. And a tenant can be evicted. The algorithm changes overnight. The account gets restricted. The reach quietly dries up. And there's no lease you can point to. I've watched that exact thing happen to people I know and customers I know. Now, your website is the one piece of digital ground that you actually own outright. It's one property that AI systems can crawl, index, and cite as a real source without asking anyone's permission but yours. When your website is thin, outdated, or unclear, you're not just losing website visitors. You're losing your one piece of owned territory in a system that is increasingly deciding on your behalf who gets recommended and who doesn't. Now, I want to be fair here. Social media still matters. It builds relationships. It builds familiarity. It's where people already are. I'm not telling you to abandon it. I'm telling that you cannot make it your foundation because you don't hold the deed to it. Your website is the one place where the terms don't change on you overnight, and you need to treat it that way. Now, point 3 is the one I think matters most, and it's the one that connects straight back to what my friend Ashley said. The business owners I audit are almost never careless or lazy. It's the opposite. They're close to what they've built, deeply and personally close. And that closeness is exactly what makes them unable to see what's actually wrong with it. I audited a nonprofit last week, and this one stuck with me because somebody was careless. They actually tried to help, but it went sideways. Now, this nonprofit was using a website on a .com domain. A few months back, someone decided to build a second website, a .org domain, on a GoDaddy template-based builder platform. It's the kind where you drag and drop sections, but you never touch actual code. You have zero access to the structured data. Now, meanwhile, the organization's original site on the .com domain was sitting right there, built on modern WordPress, fast, well-designed, with everything in place to do the AI readiness work the .org site could never do structurally, no matter how much time got poured into it. Now, from the inside, that decision made sense. More web presence, 2 domains covering more ground. It felt like addition. But the 2 live websites, both claiming to be the same organization, does the opposite of what he intended. It splits authority instead of building it. AI systems reading both sites can't tell which one is real, so they trust neither one of them fully. They weren't wrong to want more visibility. They were just too close to the decision to see it was quietly working against them. Now, that's the same trap Ashley was describing, just in a different room. When you're fused to something, your business, your identity, your own website, you stop evaluating it and you start defending it. Ashley's answer in her world is staying rooted in Christ instead of your circumstances, so your sense of who you are doesn't rise and fall with your revenue. My answer in mine, in the same instinct applies to strategy, is that you need an outside, unencumbered set of eyes to see what you built, because you cannot accurately audit what you're too attached to see clearly. Closeness isn't a character flaw, it's just a blind spot, and blind spots don't fix themselves from the inside. So here's what to do about it. There's one thing I want you to do this week, and I've said this before. Do one thing, not 10. Open your own website on your phone in a private or incognito window so it's not logged in and not cached to you personally. Then I want you to go one step further. Open ChatGPT or Perplexity and literally ask it what your business does and where it's located. See what it tells you back. Not what you know to be true, because here's the point. What the AI is actually telling a stranger is true. If the answer is vague, outdated, or just plain wrong, that's not a marketing problem. That's a visibility problem. And I have good news. It's fixable. But it's fixable only when you can see it, the one time that you pay attention to it. So you have to step outside of your own closeness to it, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Now, if you don't want to do that alone, ask someone who has never been to your website before to do it for you and tell you honestly what they found. Or find someone else in your world, like Ashley in hers, whose whole job is looking at things without your attachment to them. Either way, the point is the same. You need eyes that aren't grafted into the branch. Well, I'll leave you with this question underneath all of this, and it's not really about websites. Ashley asked her audience whether their confidence was rooted in Christ or in their revenue. I'd ask you something in the same family. Is your read on your own business rooted in what's actually there or in how close you are to it? Those are 2 very different things. And right now, AI is reading your business exactly as it actually appears, not as you know it to be. Hey, that's it for today. This is Truth in a Digital World. I'm John Delaney. Let's talk about truth before we outsource it.